Hi, I'm Connie, and this is Connie's Kitchen. And this is not a set, this is the actual kitchen at Treetop Lodge, where we prepare all the food for our guests and do the majority of our catering also. It's not a big kitchen, but it's very efficient. Today it's a little bit more crowded, but that works too. We make do. Today I'm going to do a very simple dinner. Husband calls at 5 o'clock, says I'll be home in 5 minutes, and oh, by the way, I've got a meeting. So that's when I reach into the fridge and I reach into the pantry and I go to the neighbor's house and put together a quick, good meal rather than a pizza or stopping at McDonald's. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you don't want to do it every night of the week. So this time of year in Michigan, vegetables. It's all about vegetables. I also like to have a dessert, so I'm going to put that together first real quick. Over here in the pot, frozen fruit. I pick this up, I keep it in the freezer, especially up here at the lodge, because quite often I have to put a dessert together quickly. I'm going to put this in, turn it on, and then goose it up a little bit and try not to set fire to it. And now that I've got the heat on and I'm starting to cook, I'm going to lose the hair. Not only is it cooler, but I don't want hair in my food. So I'll do that. And we're just going to add some flavors to that fruit. Now, of course, fresh fruit is always the best. But like I said, sometimes you're in a hurry. So I'm going to take a little bit of butter, throw that in. This is such a no-brainer, but it's delicious. And then I'm going to use my zester. Now, if you don't have a zester, you need to have one. Having a zester will change your life. I've said that to people before, and they weren't quite sure what I meant. But it's a great way to add some flavor. I'm going to add some lemon zest. And it's real easy to use a zester, especially with the lemon. You just, spill some. You just keep it moving because you just want to get some of that. There's so much flavor in a lemon peel. I'm going to add usually I have these in little dishes to prepare like I did there, but I forgot with my cinnamon. I've got a little bit of brown sugar. I'm going to throw that in. And then I always like to keep washed up as I go. As you'll notice back here, there's a lot of different partial wine bottles. Some of it was bad wine to begin with. Some of it is fortified wine. Some of it is just left over. But don't throw it out because you can always use it. This is a fun little wine I pick up in the fall. And you can serve this straight, you can serve it warmed, or after it's been open for a while. You can throw it in with the fruit. Now the alcohol is going to cook off and leave behind some wonderful, rich flavors that will cook my fruit. So I'm going to let that go for a few minutes. Once I get that up to a nice boil, I'll turn it down, set it on the back. Again, to save time. Now my ice cream got a little soft here, but that's all right. You can get out a regular bowl or you can have a little bit of fun. And I say, use your good stuff all the time. Don't save it for a special occasion. If you use it and it gets broken, oh well. At least it got broken because it was being used. So, the tendency is always to want to lick your fingers. Not only is it not sanitary, but by the end of the meal, you're not going to want to eat, so don't do that. So, I'm going to scoop these up, and then I'm going to throw these back in the freezer until dessert time. And usually, okay, if the ice cream hadn't melted so much, it would have been a lot neater, but c'est la vie. Things happen. So we'll just throw all this mess back in the freezer, which is right over here. I'll step away for just a moment. This is a logistical nightmare. All right, so that's ready for later. And so will this be. Now I'm going to get my zucchini started. And all right, spilled some ice cream. I'm going to wipe that up. Because although I've heard zucchini and ice cream is great, it's not exactly what I had planned for tonight. Now I'm going to peel down. I've washed my zucchini. I've got my handy garbage bowl here. And I'm just going to peel these down. You can leave the peeling on, but the way we're going to cook it tends to get a little gummy if you do. So I'm going to take it down. And it's funny, the peeler. When I first moved out, bought my first house, started cooking on my own, I'd have my folks over for dinner. And my mother was always convinced, because I never peeled my potatoes, that that was obviously because I didn't own a peeler. I now have 5 of these, thanks to my mom. I finally convinced her it wasn't for a lack of peel, or peeler, just that I like the peel on things. But my cooking and my mom's were obviously very different. So we're just going to cut those down. I've got zucchini. I'm going to do some squash. And then we're just going to throw this in the oven while we make up a quick sauce. And all that's going to do in the oven is soften a bit and bring out some of the natural water and moisture. Because zucchini and squash, they're pretty, but on their own, they don't have a heck of a lot of flavor. So what we're going to do is give them some flavor. All right, we'll set these aside. This is handy. Garbage bowl, you're not constantly either making a mess or running for the garbage can. All right, there we go. Simple, simple. Got a little bit of olive oil. Toss that in. A little bit of salt and pepper. Now, I always like to put these out in little containers like this because if you start to pour from the big salt container and it spills, you're in big trouble. And I don't like a lot of salt in my food. I prefer to let people salt the food because once it's in there, you can't take it out. So I've got my oven preheated to 350. And I'm going to just slide that in there and let it sit. All right, so now I'm going to throw together a quick sauce, and I'll get started on it, and then we'll come back. But we're going to start with canned tomatoes, because again, we're in a hurry. So we're going to take these simple ingredients. I'm going to rough chop some onion and garlic and get that sauteing, which I'll do, and that'll be sauteing when we come back. And I don't have crazy knife skills. I like a rough chop. And also in this case, I'll be hitting it with a blender later, so it doesn't matter too much. Fresh onion, right in the pot. And then some fresh garlic, and we'll get that started with a little bit of olive oil. And that should be smelling pretty good by the time we get back. So there you go. I don't know if we have a moment for a quick tip. Fresh garlic is great. This is great in a hurry. You can get done, get it going. So there we go. That's the basis to a basic sauce. We're going to get that started. We'll switch burners now. Let that get started, and we'll see you shortly.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the village of Leonard.
Hi, we're back. Now I've got my onions and my garlic. They've started sauteing and loosening up a little bit, becoming transparent. Now the fruit that we put on earlier came to a nice rapid boil. I'm just going to turn it off because it doesn't need to do anything else. We've got some sliced zucchini and squash in olive oil with salt and pepper in the oven. Now I'm going to do a quick sauce. Now fresh tomatoes are best, but you don't always have time. So I started with a couple of cans of diced tomatoes. Do you notice the labels are off? I recycle, so I like to take the labels off before I open the can, and then I'm not dealing with a wet can and sliced fingers. You do that once or twice and you learn. I'm going to take what's left of the zucchini. I'll leave a little bit right there. And I'm going to bring my pan over. I'm going to grab a hot pad. It's always a good idea. All right, I'm going to toss the zucchini in here. Not the stuff that's on the floor. Okay, now I'm also going to throw together a salad. And I like to get fresh spinach, which this is. I always save the big band off spinach when I buy it, so I can reband it. It's easier to work with as a bundle. I took the whole bundle, submerged it in cold water, and got all the dirt out of it. The stems, unless like me you have a guinea pig, generally get thrown away. I'm just going to throw a bunch of that right in our sauce. Now you're wondering, this is kind of a chunky sauce, but it won't be. Then you get some nice, and you'll see all the flavors are carrying through all the way from the salad to the main course. So I'm going to take the 2 cans, which I have already opened. I'm going to get those in here. And I like to keep things very tidy as I go. So we're going to get that started, get that on the heat. Bring the heat up a little bit more because now we want to really get it moving. I want to get it up to a rapid boil as quickly as possible. Now that looks pretty boring, right? Again, fresh herbs are always the best, but you can't beat these tubed herbs. I'm going to use this to add some Italian seasoning, which is basil, oregano, parsley. If this time of year you have fresh herbs, chop them up, put them in an ice cube tray, throw them in the freezer. You'll have fresh herbs all winter. Another great invention, tomato paste in a tube. No matter what, you buy the little can, you use a tablespoon, you end up throwing the rest of it away, which is a horrible waste because you can't save it. With this stuff, I'm going to put about a tablespoon in. Done. I can put it right back in the fridge and save it for next time. So, we got that in. I'm going to put it on my other burner where I can get it moving a little bit more quickly. Always be aware of your burners. Don't leave them burning when you walk away. All right, we're going to let that sauce sit there. We got garlic, red onion, some spinach, some zucchini and squash. Of course, we have to have a little bit of salt and pepper. Use salt and pepper in the cooking because it enhances the flavor as it cooks. You use it while you're eating because you like the taste of salt and pepper. So, losing my hair. All right, I'm going to toss together a quick salad. Tonight we're just prepping for 2. If you have a lot of people, do it family style. Make a big bowl. Again, the easiest way to do this is with scissors. And you can do it with a knife, but it takes a lot longer. This way we have a nice, fresh salad. Take the stems out. Throw those in my garbage bowl. Nice, fresh. Summer in Michigan. You've got to love the fresh vegetables, the fresh greens, because long about December, we'll be wishing we had them. Now, what I always do when I make a salad like this, you know, not everybody likes dressing, or they don't like the same kind of dressing. And I've lost my olive oil. So, I'm going to dress my salad very simply with some olive oil and some balsamic. Balsamic vinegar is wonderful. It can be used in so many different ways. And then what I'm going to add some red onion. Now, not everybody likes red onion. So I'm not going to chop it up so small that people can't see it, because you want people to be able to discreetly remove it if that's what they want to do without feeling self-conscious. So I'm going to take some nice slices of red onion, toss those right on top. I can eat them just like this, but not everybody can. So we'll just do that. And even if you have a big fancy dinner party, if you serve something someone doesn't like, you don't want to put them on the spot. So you make it so they can take out the things they don't like. And by putting these right on top, it's very easy to do that. There goes another tomato. And the dressing is already in the greens. So very quick and easy. We've got our salad. My sauce sounds like it's coming up to a boil, because sauces, I think when you're cooking, it's not just about the way it looks or the way it smells. You have to listen to it. And what I'm hearing is the boiling factor is getting a little bit louder and a little bit faster. And there we go. Got a couple of nice little salads. I'll just set these to the side for now. And I think just for fun, again, it's great to take a loaf of fresh bread. I'm going to get my salads back. But this is wonderful. Up at the grocery store, when the baguettes are a day or so old, they slice them down and they toast them for you. So that's a lot of time that you don't have to spend. So we're going to set them in there as croutons. And they can also be used when you serve dinner to soak up sauce. So, quick and easy. There you go. All right, I put these back over here now. Now those are done. All right, I'm going to see what my sauce is doing. We got a nice boil going on. Now, there we go. Bring it up to a boil and then turn it down a little bit. We don't want to lose all our juice. We don't want it to dry out. There we go. Now I've got it up to a nice temperature. Now, I want to thin it out some. But it's difficult with hot liquids. You don't want to burn yourself. So I have a great tool for that. This is an immersion blender. This was a gift from a friend of mine, and the reason I love this, it's all controlled up here. I'm going to put it under the level of my hot liquid, so when it comes on, it doesn't splash. And I'm going to blend this down, get all these firmer ingredients so we have more of a sauce consistency. We're going to throw it back on the stove, and then bring it up to a boil again, and then it will be ready to add to our zucchini mixture. There we go. Nice, fresh. Oh, it smells so good. It's one of those times you wish you had smell-o-vision. So see, we're taking in all those chunkier ingredients and we're blending them through. Truly, great investment right here. Everybody should have one. Didn't have to get the blender out or anything else. So now we're going to just throw it back on the flame. When we get back, I'll put it all together and I'll show you how we're going to serve it all, and we'll be ready for dinner.
Hello, I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles.
Together, Terry and I host the weekly news Monday through Friday at 12, 6, and 11 p.m.
Broadcast on Charter Channel 191 and AT&T UVerse 99, we only cover news that impacts our local Addison and Oxford area. In other words, by all accounts, news that would normally not receive from any other televised source.
But chances are, if it's local, it will be found on Oxford Community Television and OCTV.
For the weekly news, I'm Terry Stiles.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Together, we invite you to join Terry and me for our next OCTV weekly news program.
Welcome back to Connie's Kitchen. It's going to take me a while to get used to that, even though I call every kitchen my own. We're going to do our final assembly now so we can serve dinner. I'm going to pull the zucchini and squash out of the oven. I'm going to sprinkle it with just a little bit of paprika. My hubby likes paprika, and when it comes to vegetables, that's a good thing. Now, one thing I neglected to mention before, whenever you make a sauce using canned tomatoes, add a little bit of sugar. Don't know if it's still as true as it used to be, but it gives you a little bit, sometimes you get a tinny flavor when you're using canned tomatoes. So, no, these are oven gloves. Gotta have the oven gloves. It's so much better than flopping around with those big mitts and trying to be precise. So, we are going to just take the sauce, dump it right over top of what we've got going here. And if you have the time, you can throw it back in the oven for a while, but everything's ready at this point. So we're just going to add some mozzarella. Gotta have, I'm Irish, but my husband's Italian, so I can say mozzarella. Okay, some nice mozzarella. And if you want, you could throw some of that in the salad too. I forgot. And then one of my favorite little touches, capers. For those of you that don't know, capers are little flower berries. They're basically preserved in brine. They add a nice little burst of flavor, kind of pickled, a little salty. I use them a lot in a lot of different things. Up here at the lodge, I like to experiment. A lot of times I also cook for the free meal program, and I experiment on that also, because I want to give people fresh food and a lot of options, easy ways to add a lot of flavor. So there you have it. There's basically the dish, as simple as it is. Let's set that aside. Now we have our ice cream for dessert. A couple weeks ago I had to make brownies. And I don't know how, but I had leftover brownies. So I had a choice. I could throw them out. Not going to happen. I could eat them all. Shouldn't happen. Or I froze some. And this is what's nice. These are my excuse me, secret Sabroso brownies. And no, I'll never give out the recipe. I'll give you a lot of other recipes, but not this one. So now I'm going to add a little bit of a crunchy element and, of course, some chocolate. Who can resist some chocolate? And these are I just had them crumbled up and in the freezer. I've got some whole ones, I've got some half ones. Here we have fresh raspberries. Pick them in season, rinse them, pat them, put them on a cookie sheet on a piece of parchment, throw them in the freezer for a couple hours, and then you have individually frozen raspberries. I take that same piece of parchment and I make layers in my little containers so they're nice, they stay whole. And I love it when it gets a little bit of frost on there too, because it looks like sugar. So now we're just going to take some of our, should have had an extra spoon there, some of our fruit mixture, which is just like I said, just basically frozen fruit, but it's nice to have a little bit of something on hand to make for a sweet. If you want, you can whip up some whipping cream from scratch, which I like to do, or if you have Cool Whip, you can do that. But we're going to pass that up tonight because this ice cream is so delightfully creamy. Nice big piece of fruit there. And then get some of this wonderful juice, which is just the juice from the fruit, the witch's brew, a little bit of butter. And you see, it's not a huge quantity, so you can get away with it. It's not like you're eating a whole gallon of ice cream. Now I'm going to top it with one of my frozen strawberries or raspberries. And there you have it. We have salad, we have dessert, and I'm going to put this on the table and invite you all to join me. Isn't it? Oh, and it smells so good. Of course, we'll need something to serve it with. Salad's already on the table. I think we'll add a little bit of that mozzarella to the salad after all. There we go. Bring the dessert. Now, normally you'd save dessert till later, but since we're, you know, in a little bit of a time situation here, we're just going to go straight ahead and put it on the table. As they say, when you're a grown-up, you can eat dessert first if you want to. So I'd like you, hopefully you all will come back and join me here at the lodge in Connie's kitchen. And we're going to do a lot of different types of shows. We're going to bring the kids into the kitchen. I've got some kids that I cook with that they're great and they're fun and they love it. We're going to do holidays. We're going to do soups. We're going to do a whole show about tapas, which is basically appetizers where you make a whole meal out of individual bites. We're going to do, hopefully, some remotes, including cooking from the free meal kitchen with my wonderful volunteer team, and they are just the absolute best. And it's all about having fun, taking the stress out, using your good stuff on a daily basis. You know, nice wine glasses, cloth napkins, why not? A napkin ring, somebody at the table I guarantee will giggle, but it's a fun thing. There's no sense in having things put away that you're never going to use, that you're never going to see. When my mother passed away in '98, I was unpacking some things to get my dad ready to move. And I discovered that my grandmother's china that I had packed away in 1975, still with the 1975 newspapers, was still in the box. That's not acceptable. I took it home and I washed it and I put it on the shelf and we use it. And when Larissa's off on her own and ready for good china, it's hers. A couple things get broken now and then, but there's no point in having it if you're not going to enjoy it. And you don't have to save it for dinner parties. Have it on a weekly basis. Can you now see, quick dinner, relax for a little while. My husband's going to go to his meeting, and he'll be a lot more ready to listen to people and do his job properly and relax because he hasn't rushed through a quick burger from someplace. So you can make any night of the week. And strictly speaking, this meal, other than the wine, well, it's not even an expensive wine. Less than $10. I've set out 2 places. We have enough for at least 4 people. And in reality, it was about a half hour of preparation from the time I started to the time I served. So there's no excuse for not having nice meals and enjoying yourself and enjoying your family and your friends. A lot of times I start cooking and people just start showing up. They seem to know when we're going to have dinner. It even happens here at the lodge, and I love it. We all end up here. In the future, we'll show you some more of the lodge itself, and I have a formal dining room that seats 20, but people want to be here in the kitchen, which is what I love. So I'm cooking, I'm part of what's going on. We've actually managed to seat 6 people at this little table at one time. And it's a lot of fun, from breakfast to lunch to dinners. Come back to Connie's kitchen, see what we're going to do. I hope you'll follow us. Call me at 248-933-4579. Email stormy3958. att.net, or hit us up on Facebook, Treetop Lodge-Oxford. You need to friend request. You know me, I'll approve you. So come back to the kitchen with me. Let's have some fun together.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the village of Leonard.
At Oakland County Parks and Recreation, we value what you value: family relationships, community connections, good health, environmental stewardship, and economic stability. Oakland County residents and businesses have invested in preserving nearly 7,000 acres of parkland. Since 1966, 13 parks and golf courses have been acquired, maintained, and improved. Oakland County parks and facilities are made possible by millage funds supported by Oakland County residents. For a home valued at $200,000, the homeowner pays less than $25 per year to support the Oakland County parks. With every generation, families create lifelong memories at Oakland County's award-winning parks. From exciting summer escapades and stories around the campfire to brisk fall walks on wooded trails and snowy winter outings, the outdoors beckons year-round. It's time to get up, get out, and get going at the Oakland County parks. Active recreation options abound. Cross-country ski or mountain bike on tree-lined trails. Scale the rock climbing wall. Get your kicks with soccer at several sports fields. Row or paddle a boat on 4 picturesque inland lakes. It's an easy journey. Most parks are just a short drive away. A quick tip: all our parks and golf courses end in Oaks. To find your favorite, just go to destinationoakland.com. Click to pick Oceans of Motion water parks at Red Oaks and Waterford Oaks, the Wint Nature Center at Independence Oaks, Teen Adventures, and even entertainment to go. When outdoor adventures on your list, there's fishing, beaches, boating, playgrounds, and seasonal hunting. The campgrounds at Addison Oaks and Groveland Oaks feel like being up north with plenty of recreation options. Want to get fit? Hit the trails. Oakland County Parks boasts more than 68 miles for strolling, walking, hiking and running, biking, or horseback riding. If the links are your lure, 5 golf courses, including premier course Lion Oaks, are conveniently located. Make Glen Oaks or White Lake Oaks your home course. Get an up-north feel at Springfield Oaks, or play a quick 9 at Red Oaks. Our recreation lineup rocks. Learn to swim. Experience an outdoor adventures camp. Take the fast track at BMX, or gain new lifelong skills. Everyone's included. Individuals with disabilities participate in dozens of adaptive opportunities, including a new fully accessible playscape, modified golf carts, and annual events.